Yo, yo, yo. It's a new year, and I figured I'd start off with a cook with me, which means I'm just gonna be talking as I prepare a dish at the same time. Now I'm gonna talk about everything and nothing, but mostly about myself, because, hey, you've gotta know who you subscribe to, right? Welcome to Mama Reubo's Kitchen. Now the dish I'm gonna prepare is actually one of my favorites to prepare. It's kind of like one of my earliest really good creations, and it's a really big favorite of a previous roommate of mine, Matt. So shout out to Matt, this one's for you. Now what I'm gonna prepare is a pan-fried chicken in a bell pepper sauce. All right, so let's get started. Now the first thing I do is I have some chicken breast, which I have already sliced in half so it's thinner and it's a little easier to cook. I just want to get that dredged in some flour. For those who might not know who I am, I'm Reubo, hence the Mama Reubo's Kitchen. I don't know where to start, but pretty much, I mean, I guess if you want to know where the mama comes from, it actually started with my cookies. And with my cookies, what happened was they were really good. It was a really good recipe for cookies. And a friend of mine, Marissa, I called her Raven, she was like, oh, these are really good. You know, like, I can feel like they would be like the cookies, like the grandma's cookies. And be like, oh, you could call them like Mama Reubo's cookies. And so my name, from then on, I should say my cooking personality became Mama Reubo's. So that's where the Mama Reubo's Kitchen came in. I feel like it's a really good personality for me, or a really good name for me for my cooking personality. Sometimes even my personality in general, because it's just like I kind of have that maternal instinct, and my food is stellar. That's not just me saying that. For those who might want to know, I'm originally from California, but I moved from California to the US Virgin Islands, and then from the US Virgin Islands, specifically St. Croix, I moved here to Florida. I actually used to be in the Bradenton, Sarasota area, and then I moved here to Orlando. All right, so now I'm just putting the chicken in the oil so they can get nice and fried up. So, as those are frying up, now what I'm gonna do is just get my vegetables cut up. So I have my bell peppers here, so I'm just gonna have actually 4 different kinds, just for a variety of color and taste. Now, a lot of people ask me like how I got into cooking, and I won't want to say that it's an accident, but it is kind of like one of those things that just happened to happen that was like really awesome that it happened in that way. It actually happened during a summer where I was staying with my mother, and during that time, one of the stipulations of staying with her during the summer was that it was kind of like a live-in housekeeper. And so while my mom and stepdad were at work, and I had to just make sure that I kept the house clean, so like, you know, sweeping, mopping, things like that. And one of the things that I took over, because I obviously had most time, was to prepare dinner for the evening. As a result, like just preparing random things, just kind of going into it and just preparing whatever. Actually, I don't even remember most of the things that I made during that time. But doing so kind of really sparked something in me. It was kind of like, yo, I can do this. This is really good. Like, I can make this work. Like, I'm really good at this. So, after that summer, I actually came back here to Orlando, and I decided that I wanted to change my major to culinary. And let me tell you, that was the best decision that I ever could have made. Like, oh man, it's just, since then I have discovered such a passion to prepare food. It's just, oh my gosh, just everything about it is so good. Like, it's so much, I have so much passion for it. That's all I have to say. Like, I love it. I love it so much. Just everything from the planning of the recipes, to the shopping for the ingredients, to, you know, to the prep beforehand, or even, you know, to the cooking. And of course, I mean, the part that everybody enjoys about food is the eating. It's just been like an amazing journey. And so now I just kind of want to share that journey with you here on YouTube, you know, finding really cool recipes or coming up with really cool recipes and then sharing them with you guys. So I'm glad you guys are here to enjoy the ride. Alright, so now I'm just dicing up my bell peppers right now. So, you know, they're just kind of a uniform dice. Now, I will admit, I'm not like the most grand person for like slicing and dicing. Like my knife skills, they need a little work, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better every single time I step into that kitchen, and trust me, I step into the kitchen a lot, as I'm sure you can imagine. Now, a lot of people, like when they find out that I'm into culinary, they of course, like the first question they ask is, oh, what's your favorite dish to prepare? And usually I tell them that I don't necessarily have a favorite dish to prepare per se. I would say that like my favorite food to prepare is, which you can tell, is actually chicken. And the reason why is just chicken is, it's easy. It's just so simple. You can almost not go wrong. Very hard to go wrong, I should say, when it comes to chicken. And to quote Maya Angelou, and she says, I love chicken because it is obedient. It will do exactly what I tell it to do. And I read that and I was like, that's exactly the same way that I feel. Like chicken it will do what I want it to do, and it will take on the flavors that I want it to take on, and it's very easy to do that. So it's super simple to make. My dad would say there's millions of ways to make chicken, and he's probably not wrong. Like I'm pretty sure there's millions of ways to make chicken. All right, I'm just check my chicken, see if they need a flip. No, not quite there yet. Ah! Mistakes were made. I just want to share just some of the stuff that I'm doing with pretty much anybody who wants to know, and that's kind of how I got here. I wasn't ever really sure what I wanted to do. Like once I found out that I wanted to cook, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. Like I wasn't sure, you know, like did I want to own a restaurant? Did I want to own a food truck? Did I want to, you know, be on Food Network? Did I want to do that? I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, but at the same time it's like I wasn't sure if I wanted to own a restaurant because I know how hectic, you know, working a restaurant can be, and I kind of don't want food to become like some kind of hectic thing that I have to like, get ready really, really quick, or, you know, make sure it's perfect. Like, I just kind of want to chill, make some food, maybe have some friends over and enjoy it, and it's kind of what I want to do with my life. I know that sounds terrible, but that's just kind of how I feel. During just one time in my life when I was in between jobs, is I was paying attention to Snapchat, and I was paying attention to specifically Tastemade on the Discovery Snapchat. Now, if you haven't ever like gone to any of the Discovery places on Snapchat, you definitely ought to give it a try. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can find on there, but I would specifically direct you to Tastemade, because Tastemade's food stuff is just, it is off the hook. Like it is so inspiring. I absolutely love Tastemade and pretty much anything that they do. And a lot of the tastemakers, which are the people that kind of do their videos, I love their tastemakers. Their personalities are fantastic. They're wonderful chefs. They're really awesome people because I follow most of them on both their YouTube channel and whatever social medias they have. And I decided, I was like, you know what? That's gonna be a goal. I wanna be a YouTuber, and maybe eventually, who knows, see where it goes from there. But I feel like that's where I wanna start. I wanna share with you guys, you know, the foods that I come up with or the foods that I discover, and share them with you guys. So I was really inspired by the Tastemade app. That's what kind of sparked my channel. So now you guys know how I came to be here. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just dicing up my onion. So we're just gonna, and I'm gonna slice down like this. Check out my chicken. It's looking good. All right, now once the chicken is ready, then what we're gonna wanna do is just strain the excess oil off. And you'll just wanna reserve just a little bit of the oil, because that's what we're gonna saute the vegetables in. So the very next thing I'm gonna do is I just wanna get my garlic diced. Now I'm using roasted garlic because it's just amazing flavor. And so since it's kind of already soft, the first thing what you want to do is just kind of mash it up. So just kind of mash it into a paste. And then once you've done that, then you just kind of run your knife through it. It's a weird way to do that, but that's what I learned. Now, as far as school, which I'm sure would be the very next question now that we're on the subject, is I don't really have a lot of formal training, as they call it, in culinary. I did take a few classes at a local community college, but then for reasons I'd prefer not to discuss, I was unable to continue at the moment, and so I'm working to be able to go back in school, so I definitely want to go back to school. But at the moment, I'm just kind of, I guess, freelancing it, just kind of learning on my own. And here what I have is, I have some stock, and then I also have some cream. And I just have them heated up so that when I add them to make the sauce, they're already heated up, so it won't take a lot of time to get them up to temperature. And so it kind of helps me, it kind of helps cook a lot quicker. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take the chicken, put them on a baking sheet, and then put them in the oven, just so that if number one, they're not completely cooked through, that way they can get cooked through without constantly cooking them in the oil and maybe like overdoing the outside, and also it's gonna give you the time to strain off the oil. So I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so my chicken's in the oven right now, so that's just gonna keep warm until I'm done with everything else. I took a little bit of the oil that I was cooking it in and reserved it. So right now I'm just getting that heated up, and then I'm just going to saute my vegetables in that, and we're gonna get the sauce started basically. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the bell peppers. And we're gonna get these sauteed up until they're nice and tender. As far as cooking goes, honestly, my belief in cooking, and I know it sounds weird because it actually, like, it was said in a Disney movie, probably my favorite Disney movie for obvious reasons, is Ratatouille. Everybody know that movie? Kind of the overall theme there, or, you know, one of the lines that they had where one of the characters, Chef Augusto Gusto, I think that's what his name was. Anyway, he had a book, and it was like, the title was Anyone Can Cook. And I was like, that's true. Like, I believe that cooking is a learnable trait. Like, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I can never cook, I can barely boil water, or, you know, this, that, and the other, or, you know, whatever reason they believe that they can't cook. And I just don't believe that at all. Like, I think that you can learn at any level, at any point in your life, really. I believe that if you just kind of dedicate, even if it's just a little bit of time to learning, that anyone can get it. Like, I believe, honestly, that anyone can cook. And again, at any point in time in your life, whether you're younger, in your adolescent life, whether you're my age, or if you're older, like, I believe that anyone can learn to cook at all. And I mean, I'm not saying that you have to be great at everything, or, you know, you can just be great at even just one thing, but you've also just got to try it. Because I think, like, if you try it and then you succeed, then, you know, you just kind of get this, like, inspiration, or, you know, just get this feeling to do it again, and then you just kind of expand from there. You know, with YouTube out there, you can learn to do so many different things. It's just, like, it's a blessing that we have information so quickly. I mean, it's also a curse, but that's not a subject that I want to discuss. But for the purposes of this video, it's a blessing to have that information available so quickly. So I'm adding the onions in now, and so we're gonna cook those as well until they're tender and translucent is the word. So back to the subject at hand, just try it. Like, just find something that you feel like might be a little easy. You know, you don't have to do anything complicated. Just, you know, try something easy. Take baby steps, right? You've got to walk before you can run. Or I guess you've got to crawl before you can walk, I think is how that goes. I don't know. Anyways, just try something small and then just build up from there. I mean, that's kind of how I started. I didn't, like, just jump into it and know everything that I was doing. And yes, there will be failures, but just use those as learning tools. Just be like, okay, what did I do and what can I do differently to make sure that that doesn't happen again? And so that's just kind of how I just kind of went about it, is just doing little things here and there, adding little things here and there, and then, you know, every once in a while try something big and then succeeded because it involved a lot of those little steps that I took. So when it got to the big stuff, it was actually really simple to do. My point is, get out there and get cooking because as they say in Ratatouille, anyone can cook. That's my advice to you. So when I'm not working, actually some of my hobbies include video games. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge gamer, like that's my first instinct, like I'm a huge gamer, but I wouldn't say that I'm a huge gamer, but when I do get into something, like I really get into it, like it kind of like becomes my obsession for the last few years. Is my obsession has been Destiny. And the world of Destiny is amazing. Right now they have Destiny 2 out and they just came out with an expansion to Destiny 2. But if you haven't checked that game out, definitely give it a shot because it is so much fun. But anyway, so video games is one of my things. Like I, was a pretty avid gamer while I was growing up. Me and my brothers were always playing this, that, or the other games. I kind of migrated though. As far as video games, I was definitely the fighter type. So like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Samurai Showdown. Those kind of, those fighting games, the one-on-one fighting games or, as it evolved from there, like those were what I was really into as I was growing up. But I kind of shifted from fighting games to RPGs. So then it was like, Final Fantasy Tactics, and pretty much the Final Fantasy franchise in general. I mean, Final Fantasy 7, anyone? Right? I mean, come on. So it kind of shifted a little bit to RPGs, and then from there, it actually shifted to FPSs, first-person shooters. And so it's kind of been first-person shooters ever since then. Like every once in a while I'll get back into an RPG, but it'll be kind of like going back in time. So, all right, now I'm gonna add the garlic. All right, so now at this point in time, everything's nice and translucent and tender. What I want to do is I just want to add some flour, probably about two tablespoons worth of flour. And I'm just going to use the flour that I dredged the chicken in. Okay, so we're going to just kind of cook this out a little bit so that we can just cook the taste of the flour out. And then we'll add our liquid. All right, so that should be nice and cooked out. Now I want to add my liquid. And of course, again, I have some stock here that I've just kind of been letting heat up. I'm gonna get that added. There we go. Perfect. All right, we're just gonna kind of mix that till it kind of thickens up just a little bit. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the cream, which I also have heating as well. Okay, so back to video games, because that's where we left off last on our last episode. As far as video games, I've moved on to the first-person shooters. I've been talking about like Destiny. Now, I have played the old school first-person shooters like GoldenEye. GoldenEye, if anybody has ever played GoldenEye, you guys know that was the game right there. Then I believe from GoldenEye, I actually moved on to Perfect Dark, which I spent many hours of playing Perfect Dark. Shout out to my boy Tony and Keith. I had a very humbling experience with Keith because I felt like I was a really good player. I didn't think I was that bad. I felt I was, a little above average. So I went on a 1-on-1 match with my boy Keith. Man, I'm telling you, like, at first, clearly his strategy was like, oh, build him up a little bit, let him think he's doing good. So I was doing good, like I was killing it left and right, and I was doing great, and then he destroyed my life. I mean, it was bad. I will never forget that because that was the worst. I was like, wow, apparently I'm not that great of a player anymore. All right, so this looks like it's getting good. So now what I want to do is I want to add the cream. All right, so we're just gonna stir this and get this combined. I'm just gonna let that cook a little bit and reduce down so it can thicken up, and then we're gonna add our chicken to that. But in the meantime, more about me. I mean, I'm a typical person. I like to go out, especially to go out to eat, try new restaurants and stuff. That's another thing that I would suggest is foods. Like, try something different, especially something that you've never tried before. Just try something different. You never know. You might like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's not a big deal. It's not like it's gonna scar you for the rest of your life. maybe, depending on who you are. But yeah, just go out and try something different, try something new. If you see something in the store, just make a mental note, be like, you know, I'm gonna try that once just to see how it is. Or if you see something at like a restaurant, or, you know, like one of your friends purchases something weird or different or something you haven't tried or maybe even not liked in a long time, just give it a shot. You never know, you might like it. As far as likes and dislikes for food for me, I do like a lot of food, like almost all food, I would say. But the one things that I like, I guess you would say, like kind of some of the foods that I don't like are, well, eggnog, if you've seen that video. If you're wondering how it would be like for me to have eggnog, I'll put a link to that video here. Like as far as just kind of ingredients, as far as foods, like broccoli. I despise broccoli. It is not yummy to me. I'm not gonna go into detail because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there like, broccoli is delicious. And I'm like, no, it's not. I don't remember getting into cooking as a kid. It wasn't a huge thing to me. Like, you know, my mom and dad did all the cooking and I never really paid an extreme amount of attention to it. So it's not like I learned how to do things from my mom and dad kind of situation at that age. Since then, my mom's actually taught me like a lot of cool tips and tricks, and I've taught her a lot of cool tips and tricks, and we've exchanged recipes and things like that. Now, you know, I can say that, you know, I've watched my parents cook and everything, but when I was younger, it wasn't a huge thing to me. Like, I don't know, it just never really crossed my mind. Which is totally okay, because I mean, that's just how things can work out from time to time. It just happens to work out that way. But right now, man, cooking is so much fun. I love it. I love everything about it. Just to get back on that rabbit hole. Like, cooking is fun. And I mean, who doesn't love food? There's just, I mean, we literally have to have food to survive. But who doesn't love it? Like there is something out there for everyone. And learning to prepare it or finding somebody who can prepare it, perfection. Okay, so I got my chicken out of the oven, and now what I'm gonna do is just gonna add it back into the sauce and get it kind of reheated. Although I guess it's coming out of the oven, so it'll be kind of hot anyway. But nonetheless, we're adding it back to the sauce so it can get reheated and kind of just stew in the sauce a little bit, really get those flavors in there. Oh, that looks beautiful. Look at that. Bam. Get it nice and coated. Let those flavors come up to temperature. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt. And then normally what you want to do is, because if it's going to be a white sauce, you want to use ground white pepper, but I don't have ground white pepper and I don't care about it being white, so a little bit of pepper as well. And mixed around. All right, so that should be good. So we're going to turn this off. I'm going to clear this up a little bit, then we're going to get everything served up. All right, and time to get everything plated up. So I just have a plate of rice here, which is what I'm going to put the chicken on. Now you can use anything that you want. If you wanted to put over pasta, that'd be really good too. If you wanted to put over potatoes, that would also be really delicious. But I find that rice is kind of the best because it absorbs the sauce and it tastes stellar with the rice. So I just have some white rice here that I cooked in my rice cooker, but you can use any kind of rice that you like, you know, brown, yellow, orange, red, whatever kind of rices there are. But, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this plated up. So, just gonna take one of the chicken breasts, lay it right on top of the rice. Boom, just like that. Then I'm just gonna spoon some of this sauce over it. Perfect. So all that's left to do is to dig in and enjoy this deliciousness on a plate. Thank you bunches for joining me for my very first cook with me. Of course, this is going to be one of many more to come. If you liked it, definitely hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to join me again, consider subscribing. Hitting that bell button, that will give you notice anytime I upload a video. Comment any questions that you have that I can answer on my next cook with me. And if you have any recipe ideas, definitely shoot those in the comments as well. Or you can send them to any of my social media, which is all linked in the comment box below. And as always, catch you back here for more deliciousness.